Justin Trudeau's summer has now been bookended by by-election losses in 2 seats, first in urban Toronto, now in urban Montreal, that the Liberals previously won by wide margins.
What do you think went wrong?
Oh, I think there's all sorts of reflections to take on that.
Barring some wild, unforeseen circumstance, it is clear now that the Liberal Party, under Justin Trudeau's leadership, is absolutely going to lose the next election. That is based on the incredible results out of the recent by-elections where the Liberals have been absolutely destroyed. So I'm going to go over 2 of those recent by-elections, one in particular where it was a Liberal stronghold and, again, they got destroyed. And the obvious conclusion that should be made here by the Liberals themselves, that it is time to replace Trudeau as leader. So let me start with the by-election in Winnipeg. So this is a Winnipeg riding, Elmwood-Transcona, where the NDP held on to their seat, you see here, by about 1,000 votes. Now, I want to be clear as well, by-election turnout is always going to be lower than typical turnout. So the turnout here was around 39%. But taking a look at what it was last time, you can see that the NDP sat at around 49.69%. I'll get to the results this year, but there wasn't much of a change. Liberals were at 14.74%. Conservatives at 28. Look at what happened here. NDP stayed around the same, 48%, so down by, a point and a half. Conservatives up 15 points, almost 16 points. Liberals down almost 10 points. Now, I'm going to show you why this isn't really about the popularity of the Conservatives. It's more about the hatred of the Liberals. So the other example here, this one is more important. This is a Montreal riding, LaSalle-Émard-Verdun, where the Bloc Québécois won this seat with a couple hundred votes. Again, a close election, by-election turnout. Let me just be clear on the turnout here. I assume it was around 40%. Yeah, so about the same. 39% turnout. So before Monday's by-election, there were few seats safer than LaSalle-Émard-Verdun for the federal Liberals in Quebec. This loss is a sign of how far the party has fallen. Let me show you how wild this is. So in 2021, the Liberals won this seat with 42% of the vote, almost 43. Bloc Québécois sat at just over half at 22%. So compare that to last night, where the Liberals dropped 15 points. The Bloc Québécois up 5. It's actually the New Democrats, the NDP, that gained the most from the Liberals' loss with 6.7% of the vote. And Conservatives jumped as well with about 4 points. So the lesson here, it's not about the popularity of the Conservatives. It is about the hatred towards the governing party, the Liberal Party. So regardless of riding, you see the Liberals dropping incredibly. And it is other parties, be it the Bloc Québécois, be it the NDP, be it the Conservatives, that are benefiting. And it depends on the riding based on who the competitor in that riding tends to be. So this riding, the Bloc Québécois, again, they were the close competitor last time, so they picked up the victory here. In the other one, the NDP maintained, while the Liberals dropped, to the benefit of the Conservatives, who were seen as the alternative to the Liberals in that riding. This is the reaction from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to these results.
Just in English, your reaction to the results last night.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate everyone who stepped up in putting their name on a ballot at a time where we know politics is in a challenging moment. I also want to highlight the thousands upon thousands of volunteers who stepped out, lots for our party, but lots for other parties as well, to show that people are still very much engaged. At the same time, we need people to be more engaged. We need people to understand what's at stake in this upcoming election. Obviously, it would have been nicer to be able to win and hold Verdun, but there's more work to do, and we're going to stay focused on doing it.
What do you think went wrong?
Oh, I think there's all sorts of reflections to take on that, but the big thing is to make sure that Canadians understand the choice they get to make in the next election about the kind of country we are really matters, and that's the work we're going to continue to do.
The poker face there, incredible. In Trudeau fashion, he gives you nothing. But it's clear he's not happy with the results. Didn't even give any potential reasons for the incredible loss, because let's be honest here. People are simply tired of Justin Trudeau as prime minister, regardless of the benefits that we may have seen. $10 a day childcare, which has benefited me personally, has been a great thing. Expansion of dental care, I'd say, has been, a lot of these things don't go far enough, but has been a positive move in the right direction. Expansion of pharmacare, again, these are good moves in the right direction, largely pulled, to be clear here, by the NDP and the agreement that the NDP had with the Liberals. That's why the Liberals moved on some of these issues. These are positive steps. That said, when you're in power for almost 10 years, at least recently has tended to be like the cutoff for most Canadians. Harper in for about, I think it was 10 years, and then they were done with him. So, and there were, I would argue, better reasons to want Harper out at the time than people want Trudeau out. Regardless of the reasons, though, people are tired. It is time for the Liberal Party, if they care about any success at all. It doesn't mean they're going to avoid losing, but if they care about keeping more of the seats than what they are projected to keep, they would move to begin the process to replace Trudeau. Now, let's take a look at the some of the polling data here. So this is from Abacus Data. I like their polls because they track over a long period of time, and it's all very nicely laid out. The Conservatives here, but again, all polling shows similar results here in Canada. Conservative leading here with the current vote share at 43% of the vote, so they're up 1 from the last poll. Liberals down 3 at 22%. NDP no change at 18%. Taking a look at the reason here. Again, it is very clear what the problem is. Look at this gradual increase in negativity towards Justin Trudeau. This is the problem. That does not mean that replacing him would lead to a Liberal government again, but I think it would save the Liberals some seats. I don't know what reasoning can they possibly have to continue supporting him. It's not benefiting the party. So Trudeau still insists, this is from The Guardian, still insists he will lead the party into an election that must be held by the end of October 2025. But some Liberal legislators have broken ranks to call for change at the top. Alexandria Mendez, a Liberal MP who represents a Quebec constituency, said last week that many of her constituents wanted Trudeau to go. So you're beginning to see some whispers of Liberals and those around the party saying, yeah, it's maybe time to move on now. But no one has really, there hasn't been enough of an effort of a group of them coming together and pushing. And let's be clear, maybe there is behind closed doors. That is very likely the conversations going on right now. Those were the conversations I'm sure were had. The last loss 2 months ago when I covered this one, they lost a 30 plus year stronghold. So I'll link to that video below as well, but you can just search this up, find the video. But when they lost that riding, that was sort of the clear indication that something was wrong, that they had to at least explore the idea of new leadership. Now that it continues happening and they're losing again a stronghold, this time in Montreal, it shows you it's just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg here. Especially with the fact that an election could maybe called, it could be called as early as this year. Unlikely, seems more likely early next year with the budget. Considering an election could be called very soon, the process needs to get started. All right, get the party ready. I'm somebody who just look. I do not want Pierre Poilievre to be prime minister just based on the person that he is. His decades in Parliament of being somebody who is anti-working class, who is working for corporations, yet does a very good job at pretending he cares about people. I think it's important that at the very least, if there is a conservative government, which at this point seems very likely, that it is a minority government, and there are some, checks on what the party can do. That can't happen if you have the Liberals completely wiped out, unless the NDP take that loss and gain completely from it. But based on what we're seeing and how these ridings play out, that's not what's happening. What tends to happen is that whoever is the strongest competitor against the Liberals in that riding, they're benefiting. So in all likelihood, that means a Conservative majority government if an election were held today. Let's hope the Liberals are at least now more seriously discussing the idea of replacing Justin Trudeau.